I'd like to welcome you to BlackUSA.News. My name's Donnie Glover here with Ralph Purnell of Cierge Luxury. Ralph, how you living?
Oh man, things are amazing. Things are amazing. Trying to push through this pandemic and keep this energy high, man, because it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, as you know, as an entrepreneur. So we got to push through it. We got to push through it every day.
Did you find yourself confronted with the question that so many business owners have been asking themselves about whether or not to apply for the payroll protection program?
See, me for my company, I mean, I can really only speak as far as from my perspective. I got a small staff. And we operate on an as needed basis. We aren't like any of the bigger names in the industry as far as transportation, where they rolling vehicles out every day consistently. Me on my end, we mainly operate in the special occasion lane. So your birthdays, your weddings, mainly weddings, proms, as you know, but the audience may not know. So it's mainly like on the weekends, and we don't have a full-time staff. So that wasn't something that we were looking into. However, I did notice, other colleagues that's in the industry, they need a lot of help. They need a lot of help, especially when everything first shut down like about a year ago and nobody was traveling, no transportation or anything. I watched a lot of companies actually go out of business. Big companies that have been around for decades go out of business because they things were going so well prior to the shutdown. They may have added on a whole new fleet of vehicles, a whole new fleet of 10 cars. And if money's flowing, you're able to obviously cover for that.
Payments.
Yeah, you're making payments, money is going, but boom, everything stops. You lose all your contracts are on hold. You still got to pay your staff and everything like that. You got a staff of 50 to 100 and nothing's coming in. And for our industry, man, just like the airline industry, it just was a halt. Nothing. You weren't seeing anything coming in. And again, I can only speak on my behalf. Me, as being a smaller company, I say that it's kind of was a blessing in disguise that we weren't as large, because we're able to sustain and keep our doors open. Granted, yeah, money wasn't coming in like it normally would,
but also bills weren't.
Exactly. We don't have a super large fleet of 20, 30 vehicles. So we were able to sustain, and we just waiting for things to get back to normal, and business is starting to trickle in, and we're blessed. That's pretty much all I can say, man. We're super blessed.
So tell us, let's go back to the beginning of Cierge Luxury. When did you first start your limousine service?
Man, so I'm gonna give you a quick backstory. I'm not sure of our time here.
We got all the time in the world.
Okay, cool. So I would say back in 2006. Me being as a guy who loved cars. A lot of guys love cars. I had a car club, and cars were nice, and people would ask us, "Hey, can you take my son or daughter or niece and nephew to prom?" And my car club, we would do it, and people would actually pay us for it. And me having that business mind, 15 years ago, I always thought, man, maybe I could turn this into a business, like an actual business. So as our cars got nicer, more people started to ask. And as the years go by, in 2014 is when I decided maybe I should really pursue this full time, and not just on the side, not just as a hobby, not just as a side hustle, but fill out the paperwork, get all the certifications, get the proper licenses that you need to operate legitimately, and walk away from my job and be this full-time entrepreneur that I was destined and dying to be since 2012. So years of experience, 15 years. Cierge has been established since 2014. To answer your question in the short the short version.
You know, I think the last time you picked me up, you took me to the Winthrop up around Johns Hopkins. And just to tell you how devastating this pandemic has been, the woman, Dr. Patricia Newton, who lived at the Winthrop,
Okay.
she transitioned on. She went on during I don't know if it was COVID related, but we lost a lot of giants. Did you lose anyone particularly during the pandemic? Your family made it through okay?
I'm not sure. I can't really say if it was pandemic, corona related. I did lose my aunt, which touched me dearly, back in October. And about a week prior, I lost my stepdad. So, that, man, y'all see me smiling, man, but that hurt me. That hurt me in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. Us as being, Black men, strong men, prideful men, we never really take that moment to digress, to sit back, relax, work on your mental health.
To grieve.
To grieve. Yeah. And I tried to push on, but I just couldn't. And I just had to I took maybe like a week off just to get my mind prepared for what's to come. Because I mean, I hate to say it, but as life goes on, more stuff like that is going to happen. And I haven't lost anyone that close to me, outside of my dad 10 years ago. But that was 10 years ago.
Time to process. So we had to relearn ourselves what we need as human beings, as men, as you mentioned. A lot of time as men, we have the facade up, we have the walls up, we're ego driven. At the same time, we're only human.
Absolutely. 1000%, Donnie.
So is business coming back? And if so, do you see it more in the DC area or the Baltimore area? Which one is popping first?
I wouldn't say which one is popping first. I would say they equally. Throughout the last maybe 4 years, it's been equally. The first couple years, it was more so the DC, Northern Virginia region. But as the Baltimore region got familiar with the luxury transportation, that started to pick up as well. This year, 2021 versus 2020, complete difference. We're starting to receive a lot of inquiries. And I think that's due to people who have been wanting to get married in 2020. They couldn't because the hotels were shut down, the churches were shut down. So they had to push it back to 2021, which is this year. So the people who we got the increase from the people who already set for 2021, and we're starting to get the increase for the people who had it set for 2020 but had to push it back to 2021. But we're kind of still in a pandemic, so it's just the luck of the draw. We're gonna see how this thing goes. But I got a positive mindset about 2021. Let's just say that.
It's about to kick off. Let me go. Did we tell them that you have Bentley, your types of limousines? Did we tell them?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Cierge, we got in the game, and we started off pretty much in the light of high-end luxury vehicles. I noticed that it wasn't a large availability of luxury vehicles to rent in the DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia region. The types of vehicles that I mentioned that we have is Bentleys. We have access to Maybachs, Mercedes S550s. The type of high-end luxury vehicles that people want to feel like celebrity status in, per se. So, that's really our lane for, the folks who really want to go over and beyond for their weddings or for their, especially for proms. The kids want to be seen. You got the rappers out here with the nice luxury cars, and people want to feel like, hey, look, I want to pull up like, my favorite rapper for prom. You know, prom is a big deal. Or, you know, I'm getting married. I want to pull off in a Bentley, or I want to pull off in a Maybach. So, you know, I've noticed that it wasn't a large availability of those type of vehicles. So that's how we started. But I started to create a team because I noticed everybody don't want those cars. Some people just want a Suburban. Some people just want a limousine. You know, they can't fit their whole wedding party in a Maybach that only fits 2 people, particularly for the bride and groom. So, you know, we got together and said, hey, look, we need to build a
product for every price group.
Absolutely. That as well. That as well.
And mentality, because the Bentley is nice, but the Suburban seems like I can pay that bill and not have to pick up a second job.
Absolutely.
Or start a whole new business.
And everybody don't want a high-end vehicle as well. Somebody, if they just going to the airport, they may not need a Bentley just to go to the airport. They just need a car that's nice, that's discreet. You know, maybe
you're smiling. You joking. You got a daughter, right?
Yeah.
How old your daughter now?
She's 8.
All right. So in 8 more years, buddy, you're gonna be paying Cierge's luxury for her prom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You 1000% correct about that. Yeah.
These cats want $2,000 proms.
Yeah, you'll spend that easy. You'll spend that on just an outfit.
Not Donnie Glover.
Not Donnie.
Would your mother spend that kind of money on you?
Man, my mom.
Hell no.
Look, she might be on here listening, man. She did a lot for me. She did a lot for me. But I think even if she had it, she would do the best she could to get me similar to it. But she built me in a mindset of like, man, look, even if you got it, that may not be the right decision to do financially, because you still have to live after your prom. What you going to do after prom? But
some people can afford it, and
absolutely.
You want to have a product again for whatever the price range is. For the proms, where do the teenagers want to go?
Great question. Great question. So typically from what we've been seeing, sometimes it's just the pull up, right? You know, they want the parents want the vehicle, let's say for, 3 hours, pull up, they have all the guests at the house, the prom attendees, they come out, they take photos inside the car, they take photos outside the car. And, we may just take them to the prom just so they can pull up in style and just create that moment. And sometimes the parents will come and pick them up after the prom, right? Sometimes the prom and the...
See, that makes sense. You can floss going in, but you catching the bus home. All right, maybe not the bus.
No.
But, and this is a different day and time. Parents do take their children more places because it's so deadly outside.
That as well.
Nowadays, you'd be lucky to get a ride somewhere.
Yeah.
And a ride to and from, not likely.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
it's a different day and time now.
We also have been seeing, to answer your question as well, sometimes the prom and the after party is all together. It's right there at the same facility. In some cases, they may go to Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's is huge, or was. I mean, I'm not sure as now, obviously with the pandemic going on, it may not, some certain people may not feel as safe to go out. But, that's pretty much it. They may have an after party like at a nice facility, or, maybe at the school, at the gym, or like Dave & Buster's. That's pretty much what we've been seeing as far as after parties.
Ralph, something just hit me.
Okay, talk to me, Donnie.
A whole new product.
I'm listening.
Photos.
Talk to me. Let's dive into that. What do you mean? You're gonna have to dive deep into that one. Photos is what?
Say you get a big boy camera, say $1,000 camera. And that's not a part of the package. But if they want you to take that picture of them in the back of the car or outside the car with a big boy camera, I think that camera would pay for itself in no time.
Let me show you something right quick, Donnie. You onto something, Donnie? Okay. So as about 2019, 2020, my organization got into, I'm not going to say cinematics, but YouTube, you know, putting our business out there in a different light, and a different type of platform, because we have the access to all the vehicles. We have access to dealerships, and just to really show what we're about off camera. So we built a team. But I noticed, like, man, look, you know, the team of guys who I have as videographers, they're not always available. So what I need to do? Okay, let's buy some cameras. Camera number one, bought the GoPro to mount up in the car, on side the car, inside the car, outside the car. Okay, cool. What else can I buy? Oh, let's buy a big boy camera, as Donnie said. What else can we buy? Oh, let's buy a stabilizer so that the videos can come out precise. And let me buy a MacBook so I can do it myself and start to learn this thing myself. So to your thing, that's been a thought. That's been a thought to possibly add that in as a package. Like, hey, look, you don't have to. We have our own videographers, either that, you know, you can have a chauffeur, or you can have a whole video. You remember Wild World, when you can, a Wild World, Adventure World, but they have packages where you can do like your own dancing movie video and you can pay for the video. It's like, maybe we can add that in as an extra package. Like, would you want this whole thing professionally videoed? And if you do, you know, it's obviously, you know, additional as an add-on, as an a la carte package. If not, cool, you know, you just take your own photos and own videos. But to answer your question, man, Donnie, you're on it. We haven't put it out there as of yet because, you know, the pandemic kind of slowed things down. But we've been you know, thinking heavily about that.
Why hire a photographer in addition to Cierge Luxury when you can get it all from Cierge Luxury? Also, the photographer. Oh, Mr. Purnell, can a photographer come in the limousine and take a picture of us? No. Why? Because we need an insurance rider for him. That's what you make us sign before we get in the limo, the insurance piece. And he's not on there. So there are parts of the ride where there's no photographer except you.
Absolutely. You're right.
And from there, they can get an Instagram video, a YouTube video. I guess you would have all price range. It's kind of like, how long do you want this service to go on? 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and it pays for itself. Especially if people see it right there. Hey, I want that. Pull that credit card out. Whoop.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, what are some of the more popular schools that have been calling you? Students have been calling you from what schools? Baltimore, DC, maybe a couple in both areas. Number one school last season.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know, due to the limits of vehicles, it's not really one school. It's not really one school. You know, we at one point in time we were keeping track of, okay, we're targeting, we're sending out flyers to every school. We sent out flyers for the first couple of years to every school in Baltimore City, every school in Northern Virginia, every school in DC. And you know, getting the increases and as well as the bookings, there wasn't one particular school. It's been all over. It's been all over. Now we do get frequent some of the same schools each year. But as when the inquiries come in and it's prom season, be as though that the luxury side is huge for inner city DC, inner city Baltimore. Huge, huge. And also the county as well. Owens Mills. Owens Mills, we did a lot for like Owens Mills, Randallstown, but really like the inner city schools have been popular. But it's not targeted to one particular school, one particular demographic. It's all upon these folks' likings because it's thousands of students all throughout the DMV region that's going to these schools.
Ralph, do you ever get sentimental and gift any deserving student a prom ride, somebody who may be less fortunate? And we're going to put up your phone number, by the way, 301-658-5065.
301-857.
Hold on. 857
2161
2161 for reservations.
For reservations, yes. So to that question, Donnie, man, that's a great question as well. Getting the company off the ground wasn't easy. And
I know your heart, Ralph. I know your wife's heart. You always look out for the little guy.
Absolutely. So as of a couple of years, we gotten in a space where we can start to take on some of those give back initiatives. Me being a kid that grew up in the inner city, that pretty much came from humble beginnings. Nothing was handed out to me. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I felt as though I need to take on a position in my community to start to inspire these young kids. To show them that, hey, look, I know you see these rappers and you see these athletes with these nice cars. Yeah, you might can get a scholarship. You might can go to the league. You might can become the superstar. But if you don't be down and out about yourself, because you can become a business owner, you can become an entrepreneur and still get to those goals. And obviously they might not know that if I'm not on the scene. So since I have access to these cars and dealerships, one of the things that we were working on prior to the pandemic is doing something like that. We haven't figured out the logistics.
Academics.
Yeah, that was
making, with someone that's really deserving. Their money just might be funny, but if they've been busting their butt in schools, and I would think maybe principals in the area, might be able to come together. When I think of the Baltimore City school system, the school CEO makes $339,000 a year.
Okay.
She could gift a few people a ride.
She probably could. but as I'm going to take on what I can take on, I'm not going to depend on anybody else. If I got to front the bill and pay for gas, pay for my chauffeur, pay for the cars to get detailed and everything like that, I'm going to take that initiative to do so. He's working with this group called Embody. It's a nonprofit organization that was formed by the Deltas. And, I came there, I brought a vehicle, and, their thing is to encourage these young youth that's in school, middle school and high school, and show them other avenues. It's a great group of kids as well. So I pretty much pulled out some cars, let them take some photos inside the car, sit in the cars, told them a little bit of my story. And one thing I had planned to do for them, Donnie, I was going to get a coach bus from one of my teammates, cover lunch, cover breakfast, and take them to a dealership, one of the dealerships who we got a relationship with, so that they could see all these cars that they see these superstars with right there in the flesh. And whoever has the top academic, obviously making sure that, the paperwork is filled out from their parents and everything like that, have, my sales reps and my brand managers who I deal with, have them pick out one of the cars and give them a test drive, around the block or whatever the case might be, to actually get that feeling of that dream car. And it's this going over and beyond just, my chauffeur services. You can be driven in they can be driven in a Lamborghini or an Aston Martin, or a Bentley truck or a Rolls Royce, whatever the case might be. And, that would be the trickle down effect to the other kids who maybe their grades were okay, but they seen what the A student got. Like, oh, the A student, he not only got to sit in these cars, he got to take his own personal ride in the vehicle.
Yeah, I would
need to get my grades up so I can do that. So I can get that right.
Academic excellence. When I think back, this is Women's History Month. I think back to Maggie Walker. She's the first woman to open a bank in America. When I think of Annie Malone, a Black woman who was a pioneer in the beauty industry, or when we think of Reginald Lewis, or some of the other titans in the world of business, they didn't get to that level without a serious work ethic. Now, I'm not saying they were necessarily all A students, but somewhere along the line, they had an incredible sense of determination and motivation, much like Harriet Tubman. Think about it. Harriet Tubman had her freedom. And she went back and freed others.
Absolutely.
So maybe even some of it might be, maybe. What are you doing, Ralph? I'm
trying to fix the camera, but go ahead, keep talking.
No, it was fine.
I'm a little lopsided there.
No, you're fine. But so maybe academics is one piece, but also maybe it's human service. Maybe there's a young person that went out their way to feed some people, or to serve some people, because that's just as important as great grades. You can have all of the book sense in the world, but not know how to cross the street. So we don't need just smart people. We need smart people who apply their smarts. I mean, to be a Harriet Tubman, again, she had her freedom, and she jeopardized her freedom to go back and get some others, some of whom were some ungrateful Negroes. You know any ungrateful Negroes? I'm just joking. So look, Ralph, I wanted to get to something else. Mental health. You touched on it earlier about the pandemic and how it's been weighing on people. Do you think our celebrities are great examples of good mental health?
What do you mean by that? As far as
I don't want to be famous, because when I look at famous people, I just read today, I didn't know, I really don't follow it, Kanye and Miss Kardashian going their separate ways.
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm just saying, my role models are like my two brothers. They've been married for 55 years. When I think of celebrities, I think of confusion. When I think of stability, I think of you and your wife and your daughter. That's stability. So a lot of times we're pushing these images in front of our young people. And I'm just wondering, are these people mentally fit? Are they healthy mentally?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a celebrity, so I don't know. But I do know that, I mean, I'm guessing they probably, I'm sure that they go through a lot, because when you're on that pedestal, even if you're like local celebrity and you're held on a pedestal, everybody expects for you to always be happy. Everybody expects for you to always have everything in order. So, you can almost, and, this is just me just giving a guesstimate, just giving a guess at it. You holding the image of that high status, sometimes you might have to put on a mask and mask up, your issues, just to please others. Me, as far as myself and the space that I'm in right now, I'm in more of a transparent space, as of 2020. And, I've been documenting my journey on YouTube just to showcase reality. Like, hey, look, yeah, I'm a guy that, I'm doing okay. I'm not a celebrity. Yeah, I got access to, you know, nice vehicles. I live a pretty okay life. But you know, I still go through things. You know, I still have bad days. I still have off days. I have days where I need to take a break. Right now, I'm taking a break from off of Facebook because, you know, I came back to Facebook and during the pandemic and, you know, uplifting folks, you know, posting great images and showing people, you know, into my life as far as, you know, what I got going on, what I'm doing in business, what I'm doing outside of business, new ventures, and doing that consistently just on Facebook and like LinkedIn and posting every day and doing videos every day on top of everything else that you're dealing with, family, your household, making sure, you know, the wife and kids is great. You got friends that's leaning on you for advice. You know, you got business dealings that you got going on. You might might got a cancel reservation because it's snowing and it's on Valentine's Day and they had this big thing all planned out. So you got to figure out this, which that actually happened. I'm like, man, I got to take a break. Me, you know, Mr. I'm strong. I'm big and bad. You never see me cry. You never see me down. I'm like, man, look, I'm sorry I ain't give y'all any warning in advance, but I feel like I need to take a break because just being on social media and consistently posting, that aspect of it takes a lot of energy, a lot of energy. So, you know, when it comes down to mental health, man, I gotta take care of that so that I can keep pushing on, so that I can keep going, trying to reach my goals and trying to reach others. How can I help you when my energy is drained?
I was just sharing with a friend of mine yesterday. I asked him, I said, when's the last time you've been on a plane? He said, oh, a couple years ago. What does the flight attendant tell you before the plane pulls off, Ralph?
Man, buckle your seatbelts, prepare for turbulence.
No, in case of emergency and the oxygen mask comes down. Do you know that set of instructions?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You protect yourself before you protect others.
Yeah, you put your mask on first.
Yep.
Before you put it on the baby. Why?
Can't help
you fall out, you can't help the baby.
Yep. 1,000%.
So a lot of times as parents, you know, do you remember Bernie Mac saying, these kids ain't gonna kill me. I'm gonna kill them, but they're not gonna kill me. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that one, but
I remember it very clearly. And his point was, I believe, you have to take care of you. Kids will put so many demands. And you got to be like your mama and your dad and your grandmama and put that thing back in place. They not the parent, you the parent. You got $20 and they want $40 worth of stuff. Guess what? Something ain't going to be on that list. As long as you got food, shelter, and clothing, those were the needs.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is an afterthought. So, yeah, make sure you put your oxygen mask on first because you ain't going to be no good. You ever hear that song? I think it was Bill Withers. They'll use you till they use you up.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Then they use you up, throw you away, and go find somebody else to use.
Yep.
And you got a giving heart. So, yeah, you got to limit how much you give.
Yeah, man. Look, my oxygen mask is on right now. It's on.
Yeah. And you have been using the term team throughout this interview. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a small team. You know, I even get behind the wheel and do a lot of the driving myself. You know, we got a reservation specialist outside of myself. We got a business development manager. And we also have 2 chauffeur drivers. And we also have right now three co-hosts for our media side. So if you guys go to Cierge Luxury YouTube, you'll see you know, other faces outside of myself that, you know, show the cars, show the vehicles, do walkthroughs and everything like that. So that's my, you know, small dream team, you know, that helps us push through it day in and day out. That you know, we trying to give it all and do the best that we can. We're a small team, but we're mighty.
Do you have any pictures of a limo nearby that we can show on screen?
Let's see. Yeah. So let me do that. Let's do that.
And you've been around. This is you're going on 10 years now, right?
This is my 6th year.
Oh,
We're going into year
7.
we're going into year 7.
Okay.
So
Wow.
let me pull up. I'm pulling up some photos on my computer that I could show folks.
7 years. It just seems longer.
Man, this time flies. Time flies.
And you and your wife had your daughter in the process.
Yep. So let me see if I can flip around the camera.
No, it doesn't. The only way
it
it works, you would have to do it like, yeah.
Okay. So this is the MKT, the Lincoln limousine.
Okay.
And in front of that is the Bentley. Man, this is going to be interesting to try to show you.
Well, the first one went well, very well.
Okay. So let's keep this thing going. Scroll through the photos.
Do you see your daughter driving for you down the road, taking over the company?
You know what? I thought about what's going to be next. I don't know. I'm obviously, as her dad, I'll bring it up to her when the time is right. But ultimately,
but she gonna pull you up first. She's like, Daddy, I got this. Daddy, I need to make some. Daddy, I need to make some Aruba money.
Right. Look, I'm always down to keep it in the family. I would love to.
Or she say, Daddy, I got 5 girlfriends and they about to go pay Joe Blow an exorbitant amount of money. I need you to handle this contract.
Yep, and for sure, we certainly will.
She mess around and take the business to a whole other level. She'll have what's those jets?
Oh, the private jets?
Yeah, she'll have Cierge luxury jets.
Yeah. Look, we that's something else that we have access to as well.
Really? I would love to get on a private jet. I ain't got to go nowhere, but I need a picture.
Yeah. So in this region, in order to really get into a private jet, from my affiliates, even to take a photo or to do a video shoot with a private jet, man, you almost have to book and pay for the same amount that it would cost for a flight.
Then we're gonna do the whole flight. Then how much is one booking?
So the least expensive I've seen from just from random inquiries was like around 2,500 to go to. I think this was from Baltimore to, let's see, the Delaware or somewhere in the tri-state area.
Okay, what about a helicopter? You do helicopters?
I don't have immediate access to helicopters. Just yet. I know the companies who have the helicopters, because we did video shoots with them where somebody would have the Bentley and they would have the helicopter. And I have that number, but we're not in, I guess, as like an actual affiliate, if that makes sense. So okay. This photo I'm showing you is a remote control power miniature Bentley. I'm not sure if you can see that clearly there.
Loud and clear.
So that miniature Bentley, we acquired that last year, right before the pandemic. Who getting
in there?
We had an idea of, hey, what if somebody, we notice in the weddings have the small ring bearers, the small flower girls. What if we can add an additional package that we would not only bring, the Bentley for the bride and groom, but if they want to turn this into a whole Bentley experience, they can have this remote control powered Bentley bring the ring bearer or small flower girl down the aisle.
Ralph, you ever heard of Tom Thumb weddings?
I have not. Talk to me about that.
Them Tom Thumb weddings may be renting those little limos from me. Tom Thumb weddings. Little people getting married.
Tom Thumb.
I think maybe Jack and Jill organization know a little something about that. But just look it up. It's people all around. I was never in a Tom Thumb wedding. I was never in Jack and Jill. But there's a whole industry out there. And you mentioned the Deltas. I don't know if you could mention a stronger sorority in the DMV. I'm sure some will argue, but I know in DC and Baltimore, that's a very strong organization. Of course, the AKAs, of course, the Zetas, but I'm just saying here in Maryland, this seems to be DMV, Delta country.
Yeah, I agree, and we actually
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, so that's the image. A couple years ago,
can two kids fit in there?
The one we have it's almost it's set up like a 2-seater, but you know we would limit it to one because it's rated only for a maximum of 40 pounds.
Oh, you gotta get 2 of them cars.
Yeah, look, if we gotta get 3, if we gotta get a whole fleet, we'll get a whole fleet, and that'd be a whole nother added package to what we do. But a couple years ago, during I think this was the Martin Luther King parade
in Baltimore.
We transported Ruth Pratt. Ruth Pratt, I think she's one of the founding or longest living members of the Deltas.
Oh, okay. Wow, that had to be an honor.
It was an honor. It definitely was an honor. I didn't know that we was going to be transporting her, but you know that was a big monumental moment.
So city governments have hired you?
I don't.
Well,
I'm not 100% on that.
Get you in front of, I'm sorry.
I said I would have to look, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Well, we got to get you in touch with other city officials. We have a parade here on the Avenue. Nobody's parade is like the one here on Pennsylvania Avenue. Maybe MLK, but it's cold, and we're not doing ours in the middle of the cold. I love MLK. I do not love the cold. So I ain't gonna tell you it's my favorite parade. I don't do cold. But ours is in the spring, and Pennsylvania Avenue, we have to, last year's was really, nobody has what we have. We have the A-Rappers. Nobody has the A-Rappers like we do. That's Baltimore. It's official.
Yeah. So you guys did one last year as well? Or was it 2019?
No, we did 19.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do one in 20, but we did one in 19. This was like a 3-hour parade. And the beauty is it was done in our community, by us, for us. A lot of times, you think something is black, but it's not. And the music, there's nothing like the music that comes from the actual inner city as opposed to somebody playing some music. I wanted to ask you about one more important thing.
Sure.
If you're taking young people out quite often on their first date, do you have to mentor the young men at any juncture? Have you found yourself in the middle of arguments?
No.
People clowning and acting up? No.
Like I don't. It's weird because when I talk to colleagues, of other companies, they tell me.
My daddy was an undertaker. I've seen people act up at the funeral. I know they act up at weddings, especially if Miss So-and-so come by, Aunt Jane, Uncle Eddie.
I must be protected. We must be protected, but we haven't had any. I'm knock on wood. any issues with clients acting up in the vehicles,
alcohol,
arguments, or anything like that. I think it's I think it also stems from us, how we present ourselves. We set the tone. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better, Donnie. Once we set the tone, they know, like, oh, these guys, they're official. They're professional. They're not.
And we got handcuffs too.
Look. So once we set the tone and the mood, we come in polite. We calling them sir, ma'am, Mrs. My name is such and such. I'm your chauffeur driver for today. We come in with the white gloves. We're suited and booted. We're dressed and sharp to a T. Casket sharp. Once we set the tone, I think that eliminates a lot. They get into the vehicle. Obviously we
got some sense.
We when they get into the vehicle, and they surrounded by opulence. They're surrounded by luxury. The tone of the music is very soft. It's very classical. It's very relaxed. It's not rap music and hip hop. We don't mind if they play that. And we tell them that, hey, look, play whatever you like. Oftentimes they say, okay, yeah, give me about 5 minutes. I'm gonna put on whatever I like. They, the bride and groom or the couples, they talking and they just forget all about the music. They just, man, I've never been in this piece. I've been ripping and running all day for this wedding. Now I have time just to sit back
and enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Sometimes they sleep. They in such of a comfort. They got the massage seat function on. They popping the bottles in the back seat and they just sleep, relaxing. Oh, are we here already? Oh man, I was knocked out. This ride was so comfortable. I feel like I'm riding on clouds. So, by the grace of God, we haven't had any issues or anything like that. Obviously the kids going to proms, they definitely want to turn on that hip hop music and be in the zone and everything like that. But it's more so of a fun thing. They're having fun. They on Snapchat and Instagram showing, yeah, I'm in the back of the Bentley, or I'm in the back of the, the Maybach, or, I'm in a limousine with all my friends and it's fun, so again, the words you said it, set the tone. And that goes for any business. I'm gonna be honest with you, not just mine. Any business. When you walk into an establishment and the tone is set, I don't care what mood you're in. You might be in a bad mood. If the tone is set properly, you like, whoa. All that negativity or, whatever energy you had, that goes out the door as soon as you step foot into an establishment. So set the tone, man. I'm writing notes, man. I like that one. I really like the set the tone thing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What else can we share with people, Ralph, about Cierge Luxury?
So what else? Well, I pretty much summed it up. I can say a little bit more about me. Last year I started this venture called Car Talk TV. And on Car Talk TV, it's a live show where me and my host, his name is Eric Stevenson. He goes by the name of B Vapors. We both have nice cars, and we know a lot of people with nice cars. And we noticed that both as entrepreneurs, both as husbands and dads, that we want to get not just our stories out there, but people who we have access to, clients that Cierge Luxury have access to, such as millionaires, billionaires, celebrities even. Let's get them on this live show and tell their backstory as far as how they became a celebrity, how they became this big YouTuber, how did they get those luxury cars. Yeah, they can hear from me and they can hear from my host E Vapors all day, but let's get other people on this talk show to tell their backstories, because our whole thing is that we want to inspire, we want to motivate others. And it's some people that's not going to relate to who I am today, the suit and tie, humble guy. They might can't relate to, my other half of Car Talk TV, but maybe they could relate to this celebrity that they look up to. So that's our whole thing on Car Talk TV, is to elevate, motivate, inspire, tell backstories. And
it's on YouTube.
It's on, we broadcast it from the Instagram platform, but similar to like what you're doing with StreamYard, we have a software that also streams directly to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously, because we noticed that everybody's not on Instagram, everybody's not on Facebook, everybody's not on YouTube, but they're on one of the three platforms.
So I'm gonna have to call you up and get that little tip from you.
Yeah, look, that's my nugget to you.
So you see media, a pathway in media, because think about it. You have original content, you have a captured audience, you have footage that no one else can get. The photographer can do a lot of stuff, but he can't ride in the car.
Nope.
The videographer too. They can be at the destination or at the starting point, but they won't be on the ride.
Absolutely. Yep.
Captured audience. That's brilliant. And that's a whole industry, especially all you need is 2 or 3 of those Instagrams to take off or go viral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all you need is one.
All you need
is one viral video.
Good stuff. Do you foresee, where do you see the business in 5 years or so?
Man, I think about that often.
I mean, one, kudos for surviving COVID. Dude, people are dead. They're gone.
Not coming back.
No matter what their finances look like, they're dead. They're gone. You're still here. I'm still here. And what are we going to do with it?
Yep. So to take a step back, as of 2019, the end of 2019 going into 2020, we obviously seen the growth over the 5 years, but knowing the ebbs and flows, I knew anything could change at one sharp moment. And I actually recorded it. I recorded it the top of 2020 before the pandemic. And I said, our goal, we want to expand. We want to get into other states. We have affiliates all over the country and stuff like that. We want to be this big global empire, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's take this thing one step at a time. So our goal for 2020 was to maintain. That's what the tone of the team. Let's maintain. Let's continue to add on and maintain. And when the pandemic came, it really was, let's really maintain. Let's bunker down. Yeah, we got these big dreams and big hopes of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to be this global empire.
Let's make it through the night.
Let's make it through the night. So for the next, obviously a lot changed in 2020. It really was survival mode. Again, we seen a few bookings that year, a few compared to, what was, the prior years. It was very minimum. So the thing with business plans, man, they always change. You can set your 5 year, your 10 year, your 15 year, but what happens when a travesty happens, like the pandemic or 9/11, or like the mortgage industry, when the mortgage industry collapsed and, so companies went out of business, people lost their homes, people that was realtors, they couldn't sell a home. So they had to find a different whole avenue. So your 5 year plan of, I'm going to be the biggest realtor in the East Coast. Nobody's buying homes.
So those limousine companies that went out of business, have you tried to find them in their phone books, their customer books?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I had to focus on us. I seen the headlines, I prayed for them, but it's survival mode. I had to focus on us.
They still have phone books. They have appointments. They have dates set.
I haven't.
I
haven't reached out. A lot of them have been acquired already by the bigger companies who had, obviously the bigger pockets. Because I'm noticing in this game of business, it's all about, who's the biggest, who's your competitor. Okay, can I buy my competitor out and just have more of the market share? So some of those companies who, were in financial, financial woes. Some of them have been bought out. All of them haven't. Some just went on there and just started a whole new business. But for us, as far as where we were and where we are, our thing was, man, let's just navigate the ship the best way we can. Let's focus on our ship. Let's keep our ship afloat. Yeah, we see that ship over there sinking. Maybe we can see if we can help them out the best way we can. If they got some clients, cool. But let's focus on our ship.
My big cousin would always say, you can't have no business minding somebody else's business.
Man, you got the best quotables, Donnie. I love it. I love it.
Age will give you that. Any final thoughts, Ralph? And thank you for joining us. Let's get your number up there. Let's go through your entire list of services. And thank you for being there for us throughout anniversaries over the years. I think the last one was down at the harbor. We were flexing down the harbor in the Bentley. Okay, let's go through the list of services.
Yeah, so the list of services for Cierge Luxury. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Donnie, for bringing me on, highlighting, my organization as far as Cierge Luxury, and even giving me the opportunity to be on your platform to talk about other ventures that I have going on outside of Cierge Luxury. So I greatly appreciate that. You've been genuine and authentic since day one. Since I met you, I think it was at your book signing, and you was on Radio 1. You said, hey, brother, let me bring you on Radio 1. You didn't ask for anything. You didn't ask for, hey, man, look, these slots cost. Or you got to book a slot. So you brought me on a radio station. You introduced me to Conan. You introduced me to, a bunch of the popular.
Conan's back. He's on 95 now.
I seen that on Instagram. And prayers out to him. I know he got some intertwined dealings that's going on with him, personally.
A real example of tenacity for him to bounce back and to be back on the grind. And he's a friend. That's what you and I are more than business. I can call you and, some people, they just friends. Their status, none of that is important. If they tell you something, you can take it to the bank. That's how you are. That's how Conan is in my book.
I appreciate that to the fullest. But the list of services, guys and girls, we primarily are in the chauffeur industry, the high-end chauffeur industry, where if you're looking to rent, a vehicle such as a Bentley to a Maybach to a Mercedes, a Suburban, or, a limousine for your special occasion, birthdays, proms, weddings, if you're going to the airport, if you're doing a video shoot, we have artists, we got that's doing video shoots, photo shoots. Anything in between, we handle that. We handle that here at Cierge Luxury. You guys see the number. It's 301-857-2161. We can also be reached online on all social media platforms, Cierge Luxury, and that's on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, our website. We got a list of pricing on the website, www.ciergeluxury.com. Or if you have any specific needs that cannot be answered on the website, obviously you can give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'll be able to, address that accordingly. But again, Donnie, man, I got to tip my hat off to you, man. You always bring me on these things, man, and you show me genuine love. Shout out to you. Big thanks for everybody who tuned in to my interview. Okay, talk to me about it.
Ronnie Griffin, I believe he's at. Well, just remember his name. I can imagine he'll be contacting you.
Okay.
But he knows something about your industry.
Yeah, I seen what he said too.
And this brother, he's a regular visitor, true grit, making moves. Now, this brother, he is down in Miami. Okay.
We got contacts down there as well.
I wanted to know about that. You have contacts. Is there an association? Have you formed a national association of independent limousine owners?
Man, that was okay. So before I bought my first vehicle for the company, my goal was to almost be like Uber of the high-end limousines, chauffeur industry, where you would call us or we would have an app, and no matter where you were, you can get a vehicle. So from that point on, even till now, I started to form affiliates everywhere, especially in the hot areas where people rent those nice, Lamborghinis and Ferraris down in Miami and Vegas and LA and New York. So yeah, we do have an association. It's not.
So look, there's a young lady that came on this show. Her daddy's name is Quay Parker, KWE. The daughter's name is Kelsey Parker. And
Okay.
she created in the middle of the pandemic. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Think Black app.
Okay.
Imagine you connect with Kelsey and the whole, you get the whole limousine business in the country right there on lock.
Interesting. So her app is
she finds all of the black businesses in the country. And there are others, I imagine, that do that. But imagine if you connect with Think Black app and all of your posse is on that app. They've done the groundwork for you.
Yeah, you're correct. Absolutely. I appreciate that. I just written that down.
Rondi, I'm gonna send you the link. I imagine you can't join us because Rondi's just such a brilliant guy. This was his latest comment.
Oh yeah, signature.
Yeah,
we do some stuff that we do some. I mean, we haven't obviously during the pandemic, but the signature flight support, for those who don't know, that's the private jet aviation. They pretty much got it all global. Here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region, they have one out BWI. They also have one they got two in Northern Virginia / DC. And we have affiliations out there as well. Even one of my actual affiliates, he has the contract for them, and he got a Bentley and Mercedes and BMWs and everything like that as well. So yeah, that guy's on it, man. That's when we did the last inauguration back in 2017. Most of the clients who we were dealing with was being flown in through private jets down at that aviation in Northern Virginia at Dulles.
I see you being more than just a limousine service, bud.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially again, any town on lock. I mean, Annapolis, Bowie, not just Washington, D.C., Arlington. A black journalist I met back in 2002 over in the Middle East, he said, run the ball over there where the other guy ain't. You heard me? Run the ball over there where the other guy ain't.
No, we're everywhere. If you want to know where we're at, just go to our Instagram and just look at the photos. Y'all see we were everybody. We everywhere in the DC, Maryland, Virginia region. We in Philly sometimes. We in New York sometimes. We try to go everywhere where we're licensed, obviously to cover, because we want to do it in a legitimate way. We're there. We can ship a vehicle out to somewhere if we need to. I even thought about getting tow trucks. Getting tow trucks to ship cars. Because there's certain people that we can't get to, and maybe they want this special car because they seen this big time artist or big time person in, and the car just has a particular moniker to it that's tied to it, and they've been asking. Oh, you know what? Another parade that we did. And I'm not sure if you were a part of it, Donnie, but Javante Tank Davis, he had a parade, and
he had to come through the avenue. He's from the avenue.
He's from the avenue. So we actually started doing business with him and his team right before a couple fights before he was the champion. So he would take the Bentley to the fights and everything like that. He needed something else.
Smarter than driving yourself.
Yeah. Well, he had the show first. So his teammate who manages everything reached out to me, said, hey, look, I know you got the cars on lock. We got a parade that's coming up and it's short notice, but we got to make this happen. We need some cars. Is it something that you can do? Man, I said, you know what? I guess I'm the car guy when it comes to these cars. I reached out to everybody, dealerships, my affiliates in limousine companies, car club guys who I knew from when I used to throw car shows and be a part of car clubs. We put this thing together.
We're going to have to talk offline, Ralph. I'm sensing a whole other industry here, bud.
Yeah. So look,
all the cars, too many ideas, Ralph. We need to go back to the drawing board.
Most of the cars that was, I would say at least, 80%, 85% of the vehicles that was in his, probably 90% of the vehicles that was in his parade was because I took on the initiative that, look, this is our guy, Javante, man.
Okay, Ralph. I just heard you say you're getting ready to do your own parade.
Oh, man.
That's what I just heard you say.
Look.
Okay. We giving them too many ideas. Ralph, I'll be doggone if I'm going to come and do a parade for you if I don't do a parade for me.
Yeah, that's true. Man, that's true. That could be something in the making. We're not going to talk too much. We're going to see where it goes. I'm about other people for right now. When it's my time to do something, that'll be a Cierge parade or
it's a balance, Ralph. It's a balance.
Yeah, it's a balance. Yeah, that's true.
Givers have to set limits because takers rarely do.
Woo! Again, great quotable. You
got to get out of here, Ralph. One more time. Let's go through your number. We appreciate you. Thank you for always being there for me. It's only been 7 years. It seems longer, but some wonderful people have been at events that you put your stamp on. And I can't imagine doing any events ever without Cierge Luxury there. Not me.
Appreciate that, Donnie.
I mean, you've been 25th Street, down the harbor, uptown. We are ready for New York City, though.
New York? Okay, we can put something together. Put together a nice sprinter van for you.
Yeah.
Depending on how many people you want to take.
A camera crew.
We can do that, too.
I mean, you already have the cameras. We need some shots at Times Square.
And
honestly, my favorite shot is going across the GW Bridge and seeing New York City in the backdrop. That's just like, my friends will tell you I'm like a little kid when I see that, man.
No, let me ask you before we get out of here, man. What do you think about the drones, the drone work? I mean, that's something I don't have personally, but my videographers have access to. Do you like the drone shots? Like, the aerial shots?
They get aerial. Those shots you can't duplicate. I mean, a shot coming in over New York and you got the water, you got the bridge, you got the people, the traffic. I'm just fascinated. DC's nice. But there's nothing like New York City. I mean, to see that at nighttime with the aerial and the lights and the water and the reflections. Oh, hey, man, I'm like a little kid. You're like, look at him. He's a grown man. Like a little kid.
Yep.
We're proud of you, Ralph. And I'm sure, those around you appreciate you as well. Keep giving the world your best, and only the best will come back to you, man. Any final thoughts you want to add before we go?
Man, I got this slogan that I say to that I close out all of my videos. And it seems like it's fitting for this one as well. Stay positive, stay motivated.
Good stuff. You've been watching BlackUSA.News morning show. My name's Donnie Glover. Check us out tonight at 7 p.m. and we'll be back with Sister Biz. We have Sean Stinnett joining us. He's from the Mayor's Office of Minority Business. 7 p.m. right here on BlackUSA.News. See you then.
Take care.